Good morning and welcome to yet another session of Daily Current Affairs with Sathya sir. This is me, Satyanarayan from IQ Ideas. I go through the daily newspaper and pick out important news articles which can be read by students preparing for various entrance examinations. Interesting articles which can be read for improving your reading comprehension abilities and, of course, good words for vocabulary. Today is the 8th of July 2025, and without further ado, let's jump into today's newspaper. So, there is a half page in this edition where the main headlines is at sea. That is, the High Court nixes Celebi's plea against center's curbs, upholds move to revoke security nod to Turkish company. So to nix something is to cancel something, right? What exactly is this news all about? Well, so Celebi is a Turkish-owned entity which handles airport-related operations, and it says there are compelling national security considerations that led the center to revoke security clearance of a Turkish-owned entity for handling airport-related operations. It dismissed Celebi Airport Service Private Limited's plea challenging the aviation watchdog BCAS's decision to revoke its security clearance, noting that once national security considerations are found to exist, it was not for the court to second guess the same. Okay, so that's the news that Hex nixes Turkish company's plea against center's curbs, and this is related to the aviation sector. Okay. Uh, Below that is a small article which says bail rule, jail exception. The principle is forgotten in recent past, says the Chief Justice of India. So, who is the current Chief Justice of India? Well, that is Honorable Chief Justice B.R. Gawai, and he said the principle that bail is the rule and jail is the exception has been forgotten. And this was during the delivery of the Justice V.R. Krishna Iyer Memorial Law Lecture in Kochi. Okay, interesting. So, just one one principle, and that principle merely says bail rule, jail exception. Okay. So, innocent until proven guilty, I believe, would be the thing that the Honorable Chief Justice is referring to. So, law aspirants, CLAT aspirants can definitely go through that particular article. Behind the half fold is a special which says more deaths, fewer births. Is this the new normal? The article is about how the number of births happening is actually going below the number of deaths in an analysis in a number of districts. Okay. So when COVID-19 pandemic struck, everyone knew that the number of deaths would be higher than normal, and it did happen as expected. But what came as a surprise is how the proportion of deaths to births remains stubbornly high even in 22, well after the peak of the pandemic. Okay. So in nearly every state barring Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, the death to birth ratio hasn't returned to the levels seen in 2019. For most, it's even higher than 2020, suggesting this wasn't just a temporary COVID shock, but very likely a longer term demographic shift. So, people interested in demography and things like that could definitely read this article. Coming to the actual main page, the biggest article is Trump threatens 25% tariffs on Japan, South Korea from August 1st. Okay, so this news of US President Donald Trump and the tariffs being imposed on various countries is definitely in the news. And this article says that 25% tariffs are being threatened towards Japan and South Korea from August 1st. Okay, that's going to be an interesting news to follow. Let's also go through this article to see, because apparently the deadline of 90 days after the previous announcement of tariffs would have passed either yesterday or today. Okay. Amid the uncertainty over US tariffs on India, American President Donald Trump on Monday decided to impose 25% reciprocal tariffs on Japan and South Korea, almost the same as those announced in April. While the tariffs were announced for the two countries, all eyes are on what happens to the others, since Trump had earlier stated that he intends to send letters to 12 to 15 countries starting Monday. While Indian officials have still not given up on the expectation of a mini trade deal, despite their stated reluctance on lowering duties on agricultural goods such as soybean, maize, and dairy products, the announcements on Monday could be a pointer to Trump imposing 26% duty on all Indian exports to US in case he is not convinced about the arrangement worked out at the official level last week. Okay, so that's interesting. And as a small sub article in that same news is Prime Minister Modi's statement that can't let anyone weaponize critical minerals. Interesting article. Okay. The next news alongside that is the opposition united in Supreme Court on SIR. That is the special intensive revision, and the comment is will snatch votes of lakhs. Okay, the Supreme Court on Monday agreed to hear challenges by Congress and 10 other opposition parties, including DMK and NCP Sharad Pawar, to the Election Commission's decision for special intensive revision (SIR) of electoral rolls in Bihar. So this is an update on the news that ahead of the Bihar elections, there are going to be substantial changes in the electoral rolls, and the opposition, of course, is opposing, true to its name, this decision. So let's see what the court verdicts come out to be. Other than that, just crime related news and stuff, so we will quickly move ahead. Coming to the city page, a couple of news on infrastructural development, and among all that, one good news, that is just the update on the CA toppers. Okay, so the chartered accountancy results would have been out, and as usual, we are celebrating the success of city and state students in this very important and one of the toughest exams. And these toppers have shared winning strategies ranging from digital detox to cricket breaks. So, just as a matter of inspiration, entrance exam aspirants can be reading this. Moving on to the next city page, most of the news are again related to crimes, so I'm going to skip that. The next city page, crime and infrastructure of the at local level, so skip that. The state level news page again has too many news on crimes and stuff, so not going to be too relevant. Moving on to the nation page. The biggest headlines is regarding some cricket betting racket that claimed a friend's life, and a man blew a lid on that. Okay, so nothing too relevant. Below that is an article where the Defense Minister Shri Rajnath Singh says peacetime nothing but illusion, must be prepared for uncertainty. Okay, so cautious thing, caution given. The nation page is an update on the Prime Minister at BRICS. BRICS, as we all know, is the group of 5 nations, primarily Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. So related to BRICS, you can go and do some basic research on which are the members of BRICS, who's the current leader, where is it headquartered, so on and so forth. Other than that, nothing important, but there is an interesting article, an explanation by the newspaper on what is special intensive revision ahead of the Bihar electoral polls. So this term we will definitely keep in mind. SIR, of course, can stand for a lot of things, but in terms of elections, SIR apparently stands for Special Intensive Revision. Okay, let's read the article. It says, a special revision of Bihar's electoral rolls has triggered political friction before this year's assembly elections, with opposition parties questioning the document requirements and timing. Supreme Court will hear petitions on July 10th challenging the EC's decision to carry out the exercise in the poll-bound state. Okay, why is it required? Well, the Election Commission says the SIR aims to eliminate duplicate and bogus voters especially those listed both at permanent and current addresses. EC insists that only residents currently living in an area should be on its voter rolls in accordance with constitutional norms, ensuring that only Indian citizens can vote. The exercise, last conducted in 2003, almost 22 years back, targets updated enrollment and removal of ineligible entries. And Bihar currently has around 7.9 crore registered voters. Uh, the couple of other questions answered is migrants need not panic, and why is the EC excluding Aadhaar, MG Nrega, or ration cards as valid proof? Okay, so definitely ahead of the Bihar elections, these things do make a huge difference. So read up. There's a small article regarding updates to the mission to ISS, the International Space Station, where Shubhanshu Shukla, who was the pilot of Axiom 4, along with three others, the leader of the mission, Peggy from US, and two members from Hungary and Poland, went to space. And it says Shooks irrigates sprouts in space. Findings may help in Moon and Mars mission. So that's an interesting update about the mission. And in a few days, hopefully the team should be coming back, returning to Earth, and we all, of course, pray for their safe return. We have a business page next, full of economics and business related news about acquisitions, mergers, and stuff. So this is more interesting for those who are interested in management and economics and business. We come to my favorite page, which is the middle page, full of articles good for reading. The main big one is Our Eyes in the Sky. This is by Nityanandam Yogeshwaran, who heads the Takshashila's Geospatial Research Program. Okay, it says damage assessment of conflicts like India, Pakistan, Israel, Iran is shaped by satellite images, but these can be gamed. ISRO and private companies in space sector must up the game so that Indians get good domestic data. So a little bit of tech related news, but how this is important for the nation in terms of defense and security as well. So definitely I will be reading this. Below that we have a column by a sports commentator Anand Vasu, bowling against the batsman called Life. And its focuses on Akash Deep, India's newest sensation with the ball. And it reads, what's truly special about Akash Deep, India's newest sensation with the ball, is that his talent survived numerous personal tragedies. So a human interest piece. Okay, moving on to the three columns on the left, the top one, smooth landing. India Post and other GOI departments can easily earn good money by monetizing land and buildings. Should be an interesting read. Below that, we have the language issue going on in Maharashtra. So a column, Marathi maneuvers. BMC polls made Uddhav team up with brother Raj. He may not recover politically if he fails. And below that, we seem to have a humor piece by Shani Anthony about full nest size. That is, adult children are home with no plans to leave again. Interesting. The next is a special page with the title, Does this public-private partnership benefit the public? Okay. Many states following a Government of India initiative have handed over government hospitals to private companies, expecting better healthcare for low-income patients and lower expenditure allocations in budgets. But an analysis of many such cases shows neither outcome is guaranteed. Okay. So that would be an interesting read for those interested, especially in governmental affairs in the medical sector. Below that, a lot of big articles seems medical related. Not going to pay too much attention. Next page is the global page. So obviously the big thing is Donald Trump, 10% extra tariffs on BRICS aligned nations, says Trump. And he accuses the bloc of following anti-US policies without clarifications. Interesting. Update on the Trump-Musk feud. Trump says Elon Musk is off the rails with his third-party effort. So this is apparently the reference to the statement by Elon Musk that he's going to fight against the two-party system. Right now we have the Republicans and the Democrats, the two parties in the US politics. And Elon Musk apparently said that this two-party system should be challenged and is trying to come up with a new party, apparently. Okay. Other than that, okay, interesting reads, but nothing too much. Okay. Next, the sports page. Cricket fans will obviously be following with great interest the Test match series happening between India and England. And Gill's India rediscover the swagger. Okay. So Shubman Gill leads the Indian team and it apparently is doing well. So a lot of news completely related to cricket. And just one thing about boxing, the World Boxing Cup. Hawa Singh's grandchild packs a punch. Okay, this is about a boxer, Nupur Sheoran, who leads the medal rush. India win 11 medals, including 3 golds. Nice. And coming to the last page, half of it is sports, half of it is nation. We have update regarding Djokovic. So news that will be read with interest by tennis aficionados. And below that in the nation thing, just interesting articles, but nothing which seem important for the long term. So that brings us basically to the end of today's news, where most of the articles seem related to, of course, the tariff issues happening. Uh, President Donald Trump announcing a lot of tariffs, and in the next couple of days, I believe we should be seeing a lot of updates which are going to have huge impact on international trade between major countries, because US obviously is one of the largest countries when it comes to the world of business. Other news which had a couple of articles devoted to it ahead of the Bihar elections is obviously the special intensive revision in the electoral rolls. With that, I bring today's session to an end. Hit that like button if you like this, share it with your friends. Do subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. If leave a comment below if you believe there are to be any changes made or you want to see any other updates. Wishing you all the best. Have a good day.